Hey there! Tired of spending forever seeding nursery trays by hand? Meet the Quick Click Drop Seeder. It makes seeding trays super fast. Just a click and you're done. You can seed multiple trays in no time, making your nursery work way easier. Plus, it works with paper pot trays, microgreens, and any other tray that you have. Say goodbye to tedious seeding and hello to more time on the farm. Join hundreds of other farmers and try the Quick Click Seeder today. Available at shop.moderngrower.co or using the link below. When it does come to budget, what should people expect there? You have crazy day rates, or what I would say are very high day rates that the supermarket chain could maybe seek out, but a lot of small businesses, like, they just don't have that budget. Are they going to run into problems of, I can't pay $2,000 a day for photos, so I got to go down to whatever a day, and now my photos are that much worse? How should you think about choosing a photographer? If you find somebody who's great, and now it comes down to budget, and your budget isn't huge, but you want to compensate them fairly.
Yeah, it's tough. That is the struggle. I mean, that actually is the fault line in professional photography right now, because there's always somebody who will do it cheaper. And for that matter, there are people who will do the job for free because they need the portfolio material or the exposure. And then ultimately, those folks are competing against people who would just rather do it themselves and spend no money at all. Some of the things that should drive the rate are, first of all, the size of the audience. The thing that really drives the rate for most professional photographers, for most commercial photographers, I should say, is the usage. If you are a big company going on a national ad campaign and the images are going to appear in print ads in every magazine on the newsstand for 6 months, that's a 5-figure photo shoot to start. That a photo shoot like that can get into 6 figures. On the other hand, if you're a local small business and you're really just looking for images to add to your social media, then that's obviously unrealistic. You're not going to spend $2,000 for someone to come out for a few hours or even a whole day, because your audience is still maybe a few hundred, or if you've got a pretty decent following on social media, a couple thousand, maybe, a 5-figure following. You have to be aware that a commercial photographer has to make a living, right? So if I do 100 photo shoots a year at $1,000 a day, that's $100,000. That's pretty good living, depending on where you live. Maybe not in Manhattan, but it's pretty good living here. On the other hand, would I want to do 200 photo shoots a year for $500 a day for that same $100,000 living? That's getting pretty busy for a pretty small rate of return. Could I do 500 photo shoots a year for $200 a day? Now that obviously becomes absurd, right? I can't do 500 photo shoots a day. That's more than a year. That's more than one a day. So if somebody offers to do a photo shoot for you and they're only saying they're going to charge $200, that's a clue that this is not how they make their living. They're not a professional. And so it becomes kind of, be careful what you wish for. If you find a budget photographer, you might be hiring somebody who is a trust fund baby. Okay, good for them. Or they have another job, but they don't depend on their photography to make their living. In other words, they're not really a professional photographer. You can negotiate, though, is how often do you want to do this and what are you getting for your money? So let's say the photographer wants to charge $1,000 for the day. It's a lot of money. To a small independent farmer, that's a chunk of change. But what if that photographer could promise that they are going to give them 40, 50, 60 different usable photos out of that one day, so they can feed photos into their marketing content for a year. They can change the photo header on their website weekly for a year. And then a year later, pay that same photographer $1,000 to come back and do it again. Well, if you think of it as $1,000 a day, that seems like a lot of money. But if you think you're going to get a year's worth of content and only do it once a year, then you budget for it as $1,000 a year, and it becomes much more reasonable sounding. So I would encourage any small business operator, before they, fall over and need smelling salts when they hear a commercial photographer's day rate, to negotiate what they're going to get for that day. If I, as the producer, like my chef friend, if we could go through 80 recipes in 4 days, and then he generates a book that he can sell for the next 10 years, that's a bargain. So if I could pay a photographer, and a lot of my clients are like this, a lot of my clients do hire me once or twice a year for $2,500, but they can completely refresh all their marketing materials, print collateral, website, social media, you name it, for that amount of money that they've budgeted. Then that suddenly becomes much more manageable when it's in context.
Hello, growers. Want to boost your sales, reach new customers, and streamline your sales process, all from your home office? Ready Farmer 1, my book, is your ultimate guide to making it happen. Imagine increasing your farm's revenue without ever spending a Saturday at the farmer's market. The book will show you how to create, design, and market an online farm store, learn from real farmers sharing real stories about how they move their stores online, freeing up their weekends and increasing their sales. Get my book, Ready Farmer 1, on Amazon and transform your farm business today.